One of the things I particularly like about these problems is that as you go along through the book of problem sets, you discover pretty quickly that more than economics is involved. In the world now described by modern macro, in which we have strategic interactions between players, sometimes principals or agents, in credit markets, price setting, labor markets, and so on, some of the elements that help you solve the problem are described by words that we don't always hear in economics, like the word power, the exercise of power by private actors. Now, because this appears in a model, it's formally represented in a very precise way. But that invites the student to think about what they might learn by reading in political science, reading beyond the boundaries of economics. Or in the same problem, for example, about wage setting, we see a term like fair wages. Well, if fair wages are part of the wage setting process, as George Akerlof and Janet Yellen have argued and demonstrated, well, then it seems useful to start thinking about, well, what do we mean by fairness, or what do workers mean by fairness? And then you could refer either to the behavioral economics of fairness, which we are discovering a lot about through experimental games, or to the philosophical studies like those of Rawls and Jerry Cohen and others. Or you might hear that social norms have an important part in the setting of wages. And that would lead you to think, well, maybe there's something to studying sociology, or at least looking at the literature that does that. So in other words, in some cases, people urge economists to be more interdisciplinary. And that's sometimes read as, oh, instead of being interested in markets, I should be interested in the family or religion or volunteer associations and so on. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying in order to have a decent theory of price setting or wage setting, you have to bring on board some ideas from other disciplines. So modern microeconomics is not multidisciplinary by choice. It's multidisciplinary by necessity. And that's why you'll see in our book references to people who are from outside of economics, like Daniel Kahneman.